Hello, and welcome to episode 80 of Expertise is Overrated, the podcast that takes the time to answer the questions you didn't know you didn't want the answers to. I'm Vib.
And I'm Sean, and neither of us has any clue what we're talking about.
But before we get started, what the hell is going on?
We're back! Ish.
Well, I feel we've said that in the past, so I want you to be very careful in the way you're constructing that statement.
We're literally back in the chair recording, which is a positive on where we were.
Okay, so it's a very
ago.
literal thing. But I mean, you have what looks like a house.
Yeah. Well, I say yeah with a great deal of hope rather than confidence. There is four walls and a roof. But I think I said that about 6 months ago.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
There's carpet now in a third of the rooms that should have carpet, so that's good.
I'm just amazed. I guess it has been a long time, but I felt like it would take way longer.
Yeah, I was thinking this. They broke ground in back end of April last year. So it's realistically been 9 months since they started.
To build a whole...
To build what is essentially the size of a house. Because it's 3 for 5 rooms, but 3 of them are very big. 4 bedrooms or what have you. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Quick. As soon as we move in properly, it will be. I'm still recording in what is currently our bedroom. This remains for now the problem until we can get moved out of this room. Recording is still difficult because baby, etc. Although it's getting easier.
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you did write them. We have a general release episode on Monday, Patreon special the week after, and it's all back to fortnightly episodes and monthly Patreons. So you have committed us.
I've committed us to. Yeah, I said it really blithely. And then you turned around and went, "Oh, sorry, I can't record on the day that we said we'd record."
Yeah, because some of us have jobs.
Oh, hey. No, we both have jobs. You just seem to take yours more seriously than I do. And I really hope my boss doesn't listen to this episode.
Hi, Sean's boss. How you doing?
How's it going? Remember that conversation we had about a pay rise? Perhaps I can see what you meant.
Yeah, see how much Sean is getting done in like 5% of the actual time he has allotted to his job.
It's honestly impressive, actually.
I often make fun, but it honestly is, actually.
I was...
you just use AI, don't you, be honest?
No, I just... The great secret of being a lawyer is that 80% of your job is actually really easy. It's the 20% where you make your money.
Yeah.
But the 20% is like... Well, it's like 20% is literally 1 day a week. So it's like 1 day a week where I have to work really, really hard and like really concentrate on what I'm doing. And the rest of the time, I'm making the same changes to the same contracts over and over again. So,
yeah. No, that makes sense. And this is the thing for me as well, because I always say academia is a very flexible way of working. It's just, as happened this week, when samples come in.
Exactly.
Samples come in, and there's you got to deal with that stuff.
You get paid for when the shit hits the fan.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
And most of the time, you're just spinning wheels.
But no, hopefully we are getting back to something a bit more regular. Maybe also reviving some of the old things we were doing. Yeah.
We spoke about civilizing the internet last year, and obviously we didn't do that because the internet's a horrible, horrible place at the moment. So we've got to get back on that bandwagon.
I think it's got worse.
I think it's got worse. I think because we didn't do what we said we were going to do. Everyone
I think that's
relying
right.
on us.
I think that's right.
To save, I think at this point, the world. And we didn't. And, that's on us. I think we have to own that.
I think we should apologize formally for that.
That's on us.
We will endeavor to do better. It's unacceptable behavior, and we are fully aware of that. I think us also making that challenge, right, saying we are going to start civilizing the internet, I think really brought out the worst in everybody.
It did get worse after we said that.
Yeah. I think people were oh yeah, we'll show them. And
there was a serious hold my beer moment that went on from everyone on the internet after we said that.
Well, what I'll say to that is, we did that deliberately so we'd see how bad it could get, and then we know what our challenge will be, right? This is now our Everest.
We're coming for you. We know what we're setting ourselves up against.
So it will happen. I genuinely do really want to do that series because I think it'd be really fun in a much more sort of serious way.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
What else did we say we were going to do? Oh, we're going to do for our Patreon subscribers, although we may release one of these to the general public after it goes live for Patreon. We're going to do a Star Wars rewatch review. I don't quite know exactly what it is. We're both going to watch all the Star Wars films and then talk about them individually, episode over episode. So you can finally listen to me for an entire episode talk about how amazing Star Wars films are. I'm not going to say specifically which one because I don't want to put people off, but episode 8 is great. You get to hear me talk about it for ages.
We all know. We've done this before and people got very upset with you.
I think it'll be good to do it in the not just that one, because, I mean, you said you've recently rewatched Phantom. I'm going to rewatch it very soon.
Well, again, because you were like, let's do a Star Wars rewatch. Let's start with Phantom. Let's record on Tuesday. And I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, and then we had this other idea that we're actually going to do today, so I've been thinking about that one.
Yeah, purely because you had to change tact.
No, if I'd known that we would definitely been going to do Phantom, I would have rewatched it by now. Yeah. Sure. But we changed our minds.
Anyway, lots of stuff coming.
That's going to be great.
It'll be great. We're back on it. We've not gone anywhere. It's all Sean's fault. Always. So moving on.
Never doubt.
Never doubt it is always Sean's fault. I mean, it's true. What can I say? But we're doing something today that we've done variations of in the past.
Yeah. I quite like these episodes. They're quite fun. They give us a chance to talk about things that we're looking forward to.
Absolutely. And also I get to talk about how I'm going to cast Lee Pace and everything. Because I'm going to cast Lee Pace and everything. From my list. You just know it's coming. So get ready, folks. We're talking, of course, about upcoming HBO Harry Potter series. Somewhat inspired. I mean, it sparked a discussion for us very recently because you came across a Reddit post, as so many of our discussions.
I came across a Reddit post that really confused me.
Well, there are too many of them, I must say, and it's not just Harry Potter on Reddit. It's everything, right? There's Dresden sometimes comes up with random. Oh, what if we cast these people? I'm half worried that this is all some random AI bot that just spams out content that's easy to do.
Well, certainly a lot. So this was an AI, not an AI, but probably an AI posting about who they would cast in HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series, supported with, I think, a lot of AI-generated images.
Almost certainly, yeah. I mean, I'm looking currently at Vanessa Kirby right now, and it's just so wrong.
Well,
and that's not usually something you would say about Vanessa Kirby.
You might want to rephrase that. But I think the one that settles it for me as being definitely AI is the alleged picture of Mark Addy.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite ones, and maybe that's not a bad place to start actually when we do cast, because I think we're all in agreement here.
I mean, Mark Addy as Hagrid is perfect. There is, I have basically no questions as to whether or not that's who should play Hagrid in HBO's Harry Potter. But you can't then just use a picture of Robbie Coltrane.
Maybe you
and
can
claim that
maybe
that's
they
a
just
picture
do
of
put them side by side and see how different they are.
It's so confusing.
Honestly, I didn't even clock it the first round. I just read Mark Addy as Hagrid. Oh yeah, that's fine, and he looks absolutely great. And then a bit later, I was like, hang on a minute, that's not Mark Addy. And why is that umbrella floating?
Why is the umbrella floating?
But I mean, ultimately, what we record today is relevant because they still haven't started production, and they're obviously going to listen to us and say, "Wow, we've cast everybody wrong. We should do it this way."
Well, I saw a couple of months ago that a casting call had gone out for what gets colloquially called the Golden Trio: Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So they are in the midst of casting. They will have the showrunners will have their ideas of who they want and the direction they want to take things in, but we've basically come up with an abstract list of people that might need to be cast at some point, roles that might need to be cast at some point, and then we've just stuck names next to them, and then I think we're going to shout at each other for an hour.
Essentially, yes. I mean, my suggestion was that we try and do the Marauders.
I think that's right.
I mean, that's purely selfishly motivated because I'm kind of hoping that the TV show delves into characters we've not really seen in the books and in the films that much. Like, for example, Harry's parents and that friendship group.
I think so. Yes, I think that's good. I think the Marauders are a good place to start because they also give us a good in to talk about the casting of the films, which I think it's fair to say we both think was on the whole outstanding, but does often get brought up in conversations as having made some of the things about the films a bit weird. Specifically talking about the casting of absolutely perfect Snape, Alan Rickman. But I always think you always see James and Lily cast in conversations like this, and we've got them on our list, notwithstanding the fact that I haven't got anyone
Cast in what?
listed for them. Because they're so not characters in the main series. I think it's very odd to focus on casting James and Lily. They're not relevant, really.
They're not. No, of course not. If you're literally just making, a film or a TV show about the books, yeah, you don't need them. But equally, I think a TV show gives you so much scope, and this is HBO. Let's not forget that there's many hours per season of TV.
I almost wonder whether what they'll do is, if it were me, I would do the story of the books, including your Marauder flashbacks and all of that. And then if your series is going well, I'd do a Marauders show.
Yes, you can tell that you work in the private sector. You're not wrong.
Make more money.
You're not wrong. Yeah, exactly. Make more money. And that's exactly what HBO will do, I suspect,
I suspect.
We're already... I mean, I'm sure Prime Video is already working on an Elrond and Durin...
Odd couple spin-off.
Yeah, exactly. Spin-off, that's the word I was looking for, yeah. But because everybody wants that, right? Sort of a buddy cop comedy.
That's all that I want.
And Prime Video knows that as well, so they will be making it. Don't you worry. But no, I sort of agree with you, but equally, it's just, in my head, I really struggle with trying to recast somebody like Minerva McGonagall, because I think Maggie Smith was just perfect.
I think that's fair. There are a few people like that. Alan Rickman is another one. I think anyone...
But Alan Rickman, at least, and we can maybe get onto this, but Alan Rickman, as you said before, he's a perfect cast for it, and he made it really work. But he's fundamentally not the right person to have cast. Exactly, yeah. He's wrong for it, right? Yeah. He's way too old. Way too old.
He was 52 at the time or something. He was cast
to play,
a
30-year-old? 31?
Yeah, I tried to work this out. I was trying to work out ages to try and cast relatively age-appropriate actors. So I looked up McGonagall's age at the start of the books on Google.
Yeah, which
Google's AI summary told me that McGonagall starts the book at 100, and then provided its source, which is that she was born in 1935.
Yeah, because I saw that pop up today for me as well, because there was a random... Okay, bit of a tangent here. But there was a random clip on Reddit that I saw, which was Leta Lestrange being chased by McGonagall because she'd done something.
Yes.
And first of all, so people in the comments were which I thought was really funny, is like, what the hell is this from? And everyone was like, this is from Fantastic Beasts. And even I had to think back and go, I don't remember the scene whatsoever. So, well done, Fantastic Beasts. Really rubbish films.
Yeah.
And the other comment was, McGonagall wasn't even alive when this was happening, so what the hell's going on?
It's so confusing.
It is. I based my thing off of the fact that James and Lily Potter apparently died when they were about 21.
That's, I think, right.
Yeah. So, fast forward to when Harry starts his first year, we're talking people in their very early 30s, right? 31, 32, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's right. Your Marauders are in their 30s. Molly and Arthur Weasley are probably slightly older. Molly and Arthur might be 40.
Yeah, I put them at around about 40. Yeah.
McGonagall is, I think, 60.
Yeah.
Ish.
Well, because she's described in the books as someone of a certain age, right? So she's definitely not a spring chicken.
She's...
Because when she gets absolutely stupefied by
Yes, a woman of
the
her
gang.
age.
Exactly, yeah. So I've always interpreted her to be,
yeah.
up there. Not Dumbledore
But
up there, but up there.
No, I think the first book takes place in, like, I'm going to get the years wrong, but it's like 91, 87, 91, that sort of time.
Yeah, late 80s, I want to say.
Late 80s, I think, which means McGonagall's probably more like mid 50s.
Yeah.
But apparently Rowling once gave an interview where she said that McGonagall was born in 25, and then a later source said she was born in 35. So she's in that sort of,
but this is
late middle age, young elderly.
But this is one of these sort of inconsistencies. Well, maybe that's a slightly strong word, but Snape, I think, is a perfect example of this, right? And that's why I think an Alan Rickman Snape worked, because the way Snape is written in the books, he's got so much gravitas, and he's a head of house, and he's looked up to by even people like Dumbledore. I mean, Dumbledore gives him the ultimate difficult mission. I mean, we can talk about Dumbledore being a bit of a prick, but
if you recontextualize Snape as someone in his early 30s who's never got over his schoolboy crush, which is basically what Snape is.
It is, but it
completely changes to like this sad little bully of a teacher, which we probably all had. He's got a lot of power, sure, but
then it's even more unforgivable, right? Because everybody, like all the students, know he is exactly that, and yet none of the teachers do anything about it, even though they're, in Dumbledore's case, 4 times as old.
I know.
You know. I don't know the age gap between you and your boss, but for me, it's not even a decade.
He's
I
not
think.
4 times my age.
Well,
I don't think he'd thank me for suggesting that he was. He's the same age as my dad, I think, actually, which is odd, but that's a whole other thing. So, who would you cast as Snape then? If you're going for a more age-appropriate Snape,
I find really difficult.
So I've got 2 ideas for the casting of Snape. One of which I've shared with you before, which is Adam Driver, which you don't like, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, go on, keep going.
The other one is Timothée Chalamet.
Oh,
I think that's worse.
I hate that works.
But you could do it. He could be so vile and greasy.
I hate that works.
It's good, isn't it?
I think on balance of those 2 options, I think Adam Driver takes it.
That's right.
I think he takes it. The issue with both of them is that they're not British. Now I don't know how much we care about that.
I think they could both do British, the right kind of British. I think they could both do relatively easily.
So because my 2 outside shouts, but they well, actually one works age-wise, which is Harry Melling.
That's Dudley. No,
it's Dudley. Yeah, it's Dudley Dursley. Yeah. But he looks also very different now, and I think he brings this. I mean, he wouldn't thank me if I said this, but he brings that sort of greasy quality to it. I can't quite describe it, but his face is so
really filthy energy to the part.
Yeah, like his face is so emotive and expressive in like a really sad way, and I think that really would speak to what you've described about Snape and he's just somebody who hasn't gotten over someone. So I think I could see Harry Melling, but yeah, obviously he did play Dudley in the other thing. But I don't hate that. Part of me was trying to think, can I essentially cast people from the first series of films as new characters in the other films? But we'll see how. I think
it's going to be it's going to be really hard to sell some of those. Some of them are great. Like I absolutely love the idea that Tom Felton should come back to play Lucius Malfoy.
I mean, that was obviously the only solution.
Oh no, I've got a different solution for Lucius, but and it's not even Lee Pace.
Well, that was my other one for Lucius. So my other Snape would be Cillian Murphy.
I quite like that. I've actually got Cillian Murphy down as Voldemort because he's so drawn and narrow. And
that's not a bad
brings
shout.
Like a really I don't know how much of the Peaky Blinders you saw, but he brings a really essentially lunatic energy to that. like right on the edge all the time.
That is not a bad shout, actually, because I really struggled with Voldemort. Voldemort and Dumbledore, I essentially have no good suggestions for, especially because I know that you got a good Dumbledore one.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cillian Murphy's Voldemort. You may have nailed that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to suggest to bring back Ralph Fiennes, honestly.
just completely, just exactly the same. I like that as well.
Because Voldemort's age is another one that's a bit iffy. I put him near McGonagall's age, maybe a bit younger.
I think that's probably right. No,
maybe a bit younger actually, because
yeah.
But then Slughorn's age is so complicated as well.
Yeah, all the ages are weird because it's not a well thought out world.
You know what? We should write this down. I think we should commit. I think honestly, you've nailed it. I'm going to say Cillian Murphy for old Voldy, unless you had yeah.
Unless anyone has a brainwave between now and the end.
Because Voldemort's so difficult, right? I don't know if you make him quite as snaky as he was in the films. I think they went in a direction. I don't know if that was necessarily the right direction. I mean, he's sort of always talked about like that.
Yeah, but you could make it less obvious.
Yeah, because I was toying with people like, and maybe this was just Fantastic Beasts rolling off on me, people like Colin Farrell for a Voldemort, especially because I see him. You could imagine that that's what Riddle looked like if you de-aged Colin Farrell by quite a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
But Cillian Murphy, I think you're right. He brings that kind of slightly lunatic energy.
Yeah, you never know exactly what's going to happen when he's in the room. That was the thinking there.
So can we commit to a Snape then? We got Melling, Driver, and Chalamet. I just don't really want Chalamet.
From that list, I think it has to be Chalamet.
How old is Adam Driver?
Probably too old. But I mean, you don't have to cast a 30-year-old to play a 30-year-old if you like. They've just got to be able to sell it. Yeah, Adam Driver's 41.
Yeah, and I think Adam Driver, I would pick him over Chalamet. I think Chalamet is too pretty.
I've just seen a picture of Adam Driver that makes me want to cast him as Sirius Black, though.
But there I could see Chalamet more actually.
Yeah, I think they're both vaguely right for one of those roles, but I don't think either of them are locked in.
Yeah, I think we keep that up. I mean, I still like my shadow of Harry Melling for it.
I like Harry Melling, but I think you're going to really struggle for people to not see Dudley.
He looks so different to how he used to, though.
Yeah, but when I saw him in the Queen's Gambit, I was like, holy shit. Dudley Dursley grew up to play chess.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think there's anyone...
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The other one...
What about
the other one we could throw into the mix for a Snape is Barry Keoghan.
I quite like that as well. He feels like he needs to be in here somewhere.
He feels arguably a little bit darker.
What, you think he needs to be like a Death Eater type?
Yeah, he could be like a really pretty Peter Pettigrew. You see what I mean?
I don't hate that. I suppose you could cast someone like him, like Barry Keoghan in as Snape, and then it really hammers home every time Harry goes, look, this guy's obviously fucking evil. Why does no one see it? Because obviously you've got Barry Keoghan there absolutely chewing on scenery.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I sort of like him from that.
Yeah,
Snape's a really tough one, isn't he?
I've never seen Barry Keoghan with like shoulder length greasy hair.
No, but I could picture
shoulder length that would be greasy.
I could picture
no offense. Should we pin in Snape? What about the rest of the Marauders? Have you got anyone for any of them? Because I found them really hard.
They are so unbelievably difficult. I'm not going to
lie.
I
literally don't have a Lupin other than a joke suggestion, which is myself. Because I once went to a fancy dress party as Lupin. We did a Harry Potter formal hall at university. And I went as Lupin, as did someone else, and the other person apologised halfway through because I was a better Lupin than they were, and they wished that they hadn't come as Lupin. So,
I don't hate it because you have that sort of shambling aspect that I've always pictured with Lupin.
Just slightly tired and shambolic all the time.
I think you're more of a Fenrir, if I'm honest.
I don't think I could grow the hair for Fenrir.
That is maybe true. Lupin, I was thinking... His name's completely gone in my head. Rob Stark.
Who? Rob? Yeah, Richard Madden.
Richard Madden, thank you. I was like, Richard Armitage, but that's the wrong Richard.
Although...
No, he is too old, I think, for the Marauder.
I think Richard Armitage is too old.
Don't get me wrong, I'm going to try and cast Richard Armitage in one of these roles.
He's coming somewhere.
But
I've just spotted Richard Armitage's role.
But I think Madden could be a convincing Lupin. But that's partly because I want Richard Madden and Kit Harington to be a combination of Lupin and Sirius, probably.
So I have 2 suggestions for Sirius Black. Kit Harington is one of them, and if you have Kit Harington, then I think you have Richard Madden for Lupin. My worry about Richard Madden is, I don't know if you've seen him recently, but he's built like a brick shit house. Like, he's so solid looking.
He is mega hench, yeah.
So you'd have to basically get him to lose a load of weight and just become rangier. Unless you also, when you have Greyback, cast someone equally hench, and then henchness becomes a werewolf trait, effectively. That's the way to get around it.
That could work.
I can see Richard Madden as Lupin. I quite like it. And I think he could do the sort of bags under the eyes, slightly dishevelled quite well.
It's just him from that Bodyguard TV show.
Yeah,
that's how I'm picturing that. You know?
He was good in that. So for Sirius Black, and I'm not sure if I actually think this, but I think it's a great show. I've got, and I can't pronounce the name, Regé Jean Page.
Sorry, what now?
The Duke from Bridgerton, or the Paladin from Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh,
right?
Yes,
2 reasons.
I've seen him cast as a Lockhart in the past, but actually I kind of like him.
Lockhart. It's 2 reasons. One, because I think he'd be absolutely excellent in the role. He's a really, really good actor. He's got massive range, but also it would really annoy a lot of people. It would really annoy a lot of people. Which isn't a reason to do it, but it's not a reason not to do it.
Man, I don't hate it. The other one that I've seen thrown in, and maybe this is from the same post that you're looking at. I don't know if you found that or if you just did it. But
no, that's my own. This is my own creation.
But Dev Patel.
Oh, I have seen that. I have seen Dev Patel, and I like it as well.
I don't know if that's your Sirius or your Lupin. I think probably more Sirius.
I think he's got... Oh, is he more Sirius? I think he's got more Lupin energy.
No, I think he's... yeah, maybe.
I've not seen him in more recent things. That's the problem. So I'm picturing not quite Skins Dev Patel, but like the Newsroom Dev Patel or Marigold Hotel.
Yeah.
Where I think he's got more Lupin.
You think he's got a bit more Lupin energy? Maybe.
Maybe if he's a bit older.
I'm coming round to your... Yeah, René Jean Page or Page, I don't know. That's not a bad Sirius, you know?
Surely. I think he'd make an excellent Sirius.
I think we locked that in, to be honest with you.
I'm taking that. That's two out of...
But then are we saying that Kit Harington is James?
I think Kit Harington would be a good Lupin.
It's really not got 2 E's or anything, does it?
It's actually Regé with a G.
Regé?
I'm fairly sure.
Okay, well, we'll see. So Lupin, we've got old Richard Madden.
Yeah.
And then James, we're saying, is old Kit, because I think we
I think that's a good idea. And that gives me a James, because I don't have a James.
I think that really works, actually. We're going to get shouted at so much, aren't we?
Yeah. Especially if we go with your suggestion for Lily. If you've kept that suggestion from when we were talking about it.
I mean,
Anyway, before we get there, actually, no. Yeah, do you have a lily? I don't. I don't really care. It's really bad, but
it depends which one. Which one
the
did you
problem
want?
is,
My original Lily was Sophie Turner, and I think I'm going to stick by that.
I really horribly, I just don't think she's a very good actor.
Yeah, but you don't need her to be because she's playing Lily Potter.
I suppose you literally just need a picture of her.
Exactly. it's like that King Kong video game. You just put a JPEG of Sophie Turner wherever you need Lily, and that's fine.
That's really funny.
Because the other one I was suggesting was Natalie Dormer, but that's more because I want Natalie Dormer somewhere in this.
I've got Natalie Dormer later.
Yeah, I think there's better shouts for Natalie Dormer.
Yeah,
we'll put a pin in Lily. Do we have a Pettigrew? I
do.
I might go with your Chalamet. That's one of the better ideas for a Pettigrew that I've had. All right, who have you got?
Yeah, I have Ewan Rayan written down, Ramsay Bolton written down for Pettigrew. But I think Chalamet's a better shout.
I think the issue with Ewan is it's that same thing that you described before, like with
it's a Richard Madden problem. Ewan Redden's actually like really good shape.
Well, he's in really good shape, but equally he's too obviously evil. Maybe I'm just associating with Ramsay now, but
you'd really struggle to not see Ramsay, I suppose.
Yeah, I think you take one look at if the minute he goes on screen, you're like, oh man, how did you not see this guy was evil? But it's not the worst shout. What I've discovered is that age range for actors is really, really hard.
It is, because they're all in Game of Thrones.
They're all in Game of Thrones.
Because I did have in Game of Thrones.
I did say cast Reek. I've forgotten his name again. You can tell I've not got the list in some sort of in a nice order here.
I quite like Alfie Allen, but again, it's the same problem. It's just another Game of Thrones actor doing another role for HBO. Which isn't a reason not to do it. There's probably an argument to be made that Alfie Allen might make a good Lupin.
Yeah, that was my original feeling.
No, but I like Richard
his
Madden
face.
too much.
He's got a rat-like quality to him, I think.
He does. I think Alfie Allen for Peter Pettigrew. I like that. The more I think about it, the more I think that's the right casting.
I agree. We are just recasting Game of Thrones, aren't we? Yeah. at this stage. Although we've got Cillian Murphy in there, you can't complain about that.
No,
I mean, we already know we're going to have Mark Addy as well, though. So
yeah, Mark Addy as Hagrid is an absolute lock-in. So hard we haven't written it down. Right, let's change generations a little bit away from the Marauders. What about someone like? How many of the teachers do you want to cast? Dumbledore and McGonagall, obviously.
Snape, obviously, we've already talked about.
Snape, we've already talked about.
I struggled with Flitwick.
So I don't know who I want for Flitwick. The only thing that I want someone who doesn't need to be CGI'd for the role, and I don't want Warwick Davies, and I don't want Peter Dinklage. Not because I don't think either of them are good actors, but I think there must be other people out there who could do the role.
Well, the thing with the direction they took in the movies was, they turned him very goblin-like. Like, it was never expressed, but I think they essentially made him look like a goblin.
He was like a half goblin.
Yeah, and I don't, because in the books he's just described as tiny Professor Flitwick, but
yeah, he's not.
Given that everybody else seems to be 6 foot something, like I always pictured Flitwick as just being 5'4", you know.
Right, I picture him as someone who has. I don't know what the politically correct term is anymore. Dwarfism, but not like because he's half goblin, just because he has.
And that's, I think, is absolutely fair interpretation of the books, and I don't hate that. But then, to make that work, you are back at Warwick Davis. And don't get me wrong, I think Warwick Davis would be excellent.
Think you have to be. I'm sure there must be people out there, actors out there who have.
Oh, for sure. But I think Warwick Davis is just He's excellent.
He is, but it's a weird thing. I read something written by Peter Dinklage recently that I didn't necessarily agree with, but basically, like, there's loads of people with dwarfism out there. Go and find some and give them roles in films and TV. Good ones, obviously, people who would actually be able to act and all of that, but like, doesn't need to just be Peter Dinklage or Warwick Davies. Not because they're not great, but because there's other people out there as well.
No, absolutely. I see no problem.
I really liked the conversation we were having where you just have an inexplicably attractive Professor Sprout that no one ever talks about.
Yeah, because you sort of pointed that out, right? Because I think wasn't my original suggestion Natalie Dormer for Professor Sprout?
Yes, it was.
Just because I didn't know where else to put her. I stand by that. I think she would make an excellent Pomona Sprout. She's probably about the right age.
She probably actually is about the right age.
And it'd just be hilarious. And it fits with Hogwarts Legacy's thing where they've somehow made the botany teacher just, outrageously attractive, and it sent people into problematic states.
The internet got weird for a while.
The internet got very weird for a while.
I kind of want Natalie Dormer for Bellatrix Lestrange, though. Is my problem with casting her as Pomona Sprout, because Pomona Sprout's not a huge role. I feel like if you almost get. I quite like your suggestion of someone really random like Emily Blunt or someone like that, because it's essentially a cameo role.
I wouldn't.
Or
I don't.
Eva
I don't
Green,
hate.
or I don't know who else. Someone like that, like a big name actress, just randomly.
I don't hate Emily Blunt as Pomona Sprout. I mean, Miriam Margolyes is not exactly an unknown entity.
No, exactly.
And she played like 5 minutes.
She was a huge role.
Exactly. So I think it's totally legitimate to cast Emily Blunt as Pomona Sprout. I think it works, actually.
I think it's great. I really, really like
Although
it.
I did also think that she would be a good Lily. And the actress is
older, though. That's
older,
the problem.
but I don't think she looks it necessarily.
No, that's true.
And then you get over your problem with Sophie Turner, I think. But I don't hate Emily Blunt as Sprout.
With Sophie Turner, just don't think she's as good as the other actors that they found of that generation.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't know if I like Natalie Dormer as Bellatrix.
That's fair.
But I also can't really tell you why.
That's less fair.
Yeah, I don't...
It's hard because it's got some of the same energy, I'll admit, that Vanessa Kirby as Bellatrix has, which was in the Reddit post. It does have the same sort of slightly weird energy. The problem is, and it's similar to the Alan Rickman problem, really, the Helena Bonham Carter portrayal of Bellatrix Lestrange was so good that it's really hard to picture anyone else taking on that role unless you take the role in a completely different direction, I think.
But I think you have to do that, right? And
you have to.
We'll probably come on to that with Dumbledore.
Yeah.
But equally, I think HBC took a, she took it in a direction, and it's a great direction. But I don't think you need to do that. And I do actually think that Natalie Dormer could take Bellatrix into a sort of less crazy dark place.
Yeah,
really
more
sinister.
More sinister, more. These terms are wrong. Sociopathic rather than psychopathic direction.
And this is why I
just
sort of pictured her
completely devoid of empathy.
Yeah. And that's why she was cast as spoiler alert, I guess, for Elementary. That's ancient now, but she was cast as Moriarty, right? And she brought that exact same sociopathic, stone cold killer vibes to that role, which I think Bellatrix that works with Bellatrix.
Oh crap! What's the name? Who plays Mrs. Coulter? No, that's
yes, I know you mean
Ruth Wilson.
Ruth Wilson.
Not for her Mrs. Coulter portrayal, but when she was in. Have you seen her in Luther?
Yeah, but you know who I would cast Ruth Wilson as?
Who?
Umbridge.
Sold. Done.
Yep.
Happy. Move on.
Let's write it down. Honestly, I was like, yeah.
That's a fantastic casting. That's really good. Because you play her less manically happy. You play her as Marissa Coulter.
Exactly. That is just the role.
Yeah, that's really good.
Although I can see why Bellatrix kind of pops out of that as well. But yeah, Natalie Dormer, I'm coming around to it. Because there's no other place for her to really go where she could bring that kind of energy.
Unless, there's nowhere else that you could do it like that. If you want to get her in because you have a crush on Natalie Dormer, then I think she's got to go in as Bellatrix. I'm sorry.
All right.
Or
I mean, these are some serious negotiating you're doing there, but I have to cave.
The other place, I guess, is Narcissa Malfoy. But
yeah, Narcissa's a weird one.
I haven't got anyone written down because I don't
care enough, if I can be honest.
She's a much smaller part than her husband or her son.
But equally, aren't Bellatrix and Narcissa supposed to look super alike?
Yeah.
As well as Andromeda. So you know what I'm going to say? Cast Natalie Dormer as all three. Just give her a different wig each time.
Yeah. No, hold on.
Especially because then I get to see Natalie Dormer and Lee Pace being Lucius and Narcissa.
Someone called Sarah Bolger played, if that's who I've got? No, wrong person. Someone played Natalie Dormer's sister in The Tudors. I'm fairly sure.
Oh yeah, because she was Anne Boleyn, right?
She was Anne Boleyn. She was Anne Boleyn in The Tudors. But whoever played her sister, basically, just get her.
Maybe.
Did I invent that?
I could. There's just some random shouts you could throw in there, right, for Narcissa. Yeah. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah. That's left field, but sure. I don't think it's as important a role as some of the other ones that are still.
No, she's not as well defined in my head either.
No. So what about
again? I think the way Lucius and Narcissa were cast in the films way too old, right? Given that Draco was the same age as Harry, it's obviously not unfeasible. But I pictured Draco, the Malfoys, just a bit younger.
Yeah.
But
so I actually have a Lucius Malfoy casting. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, Lee Pace.
And this one I'm just lifting straight off the.
I will not negotiate at this time. Lee Pace.
Lee Pace. Tom Ellis, the guy who they've cast in that Reddit post that you and I were talking about.
It's so bad, mate.
It's so
I don't know
good.
Why. Maybe it's just that AI image is so bad. Because I also don't really know who Tom Ellis is.
Bad. Tom Ellis plays Lucifer in Lucifer, the TV show, and he's great because he.
Oh right, yeah, that I could see.
See, if you ignore the AI image because it's bad, because there's literally just a picture of Tom Ellis with spray painted white hair.
Yeah. That I could maybe see. Lucius is. I think Lee Pace brings a darker quality. Someone suggestion I'd seen was Harry Lloyd. The guy who plays Daenerys' brother.
Yes, I quite like him.
And not as Lucius though. I think that's literally people are like, oh, he's got long blonde hair. That must be Lucius. I don't see it as Lucius necessarily.
Lucius needs to be able to pass for respectable.
I think that's right.
The challenge, essentially, you've got to play someone who's believable both as a respectable member of the aristocracy and a genuine wizard Nazi. He's got to be able to play both those roles.
Yeah, I like your shout actually. I like your shout actually.
I'm doing well here.
Can I raise you a Lucius?
There's one other British actor floating in the wings we haven't talked about yet, and I don't know if that's because you've got a role for him somewhere else.
Who's that? You gonna say Martin Freeman?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, old Cavill. I tried so hard, but if we're saying that Richard Madden's got the problem of being too jacked, then Henry Cavill's just a brick shit house.
Just literally the wrong shape.
The only person I feasibly imagine looking like that would be Kingsley.
And yeah.
And as we discussed before we came on air, I think is confirmed that his skin color. He's like one of two people who got confirmed non-white skin color in, or black skin, right? In the series, because I guess we also have the Patel twins.
Yes,
lots of diversity there. So it it would be very bad of us.
No, we had this conversation. I think you have to cast Kingsley as a black actor.
The only things I've ever seen are Idris Elba, and I just don't. I love it. I know it's a bit on the nose.
I have an alternative shout, although it's wrong.
Yeah, go on.
The correct shout is Idris Elba. But my alternative shout, I think, just because I really like the actor, is, I can't pronounce it, Nkuti Katawa? The Doctor?
Oh, I've stopped watching that, but I know who. Yeah.
No, I mean,
I get it. I get it. It's not a bad shout. The reason I prefer Idris,
Nkuti Katawa is too young.
Exactly.
He's the same age as Adam Driver.
Exactly that. Because Kingsley's almost unanimously elected as the next president. I was going to say Minister for Magic. I think we should elect Idris as next president.
He's elected as the next Minister for Magic and immediately reforms Wizarding Society and crowns himself king.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you can get Idris Elba for the role of Kingsley, it has to be Idris Elba.
You're just talking people of that kind of gravitas, right? The Denzel Washingtons of this world, but I think he's
too American.
Yeah, for lack of a better way of putting that. Yeah. So
no, Idris Elba is a perfect Kingsley. You get him to bring a cross between his energy as Luther and his Stringer Bell from The Wire.
Yeah.
That's just Kingsley.
I think we have to lock that in. There's no two ways about it. I'd be keen to find some other shouts for Kingsley, though.
The problem is, and this is a genuine problem, there aren't many black British actors who have made huge names for themselves.
Well, Chiwetel Ejiofor comes to mind as a perhaps less bulky Kingsley. I think he'd be a sort of softer spoken Kingsley, but I quite like to
described as having like a resonant baritone.
Yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor was one of the people I'd sort of considered as maybe a Voldemort style, or as Voldemort on off, but maybe slightly too.
But Voldemort is described
polished.
as incredibly pale.
Yeah, exactly. But I see Ejiofor bringing such a delicious dark quality. But there's just not really that many compelling Death Eaters is the issue.
The operative from Serenity.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. He does that so well.
Actually, I mean, I don't think you can supplant Cillian or Cillian Murphy, but
maybe a Mad
Chiwetel
Eye.
Ejiofor might be pushed. Ooh, I like.
Maybe a Mad Eye.
Good, actually. I've while we've been talking, written down Richard Armitage for Mad Eye, but no.
Yeah. I think we're being a bit unkind to the actors because Mad Eye is supposed to be fairly old, right? I mean, he's actually retired, which never happens in the Wizarding world.
He's retired, so that makes him what? If Dumbledore hasn't retired at 120, how the fuck old is Mad Eye?
Yeah, like 200 is fine.
No,
but I think Ejiofor or Armitage is not. I think Armitage is slightly too well put together.
You'd need to beat the crap out of him before every shoot.
I sort of think. Yeah, I sort of. Oh man, can I say? Could I bring Armitage over to Arthur Weasley?
I just had that thought. Actually, I genuinely had that thought. I don't know what Armitage would look like with like dark auburn hair.
Yeah, because I was like, could I could I convince folks for a total Edger for Arthur, but the flaming red hair is so well described.
Yeah,
and equally,
and
I think he brings that Mad Eye quality to it. So I think we could do total Edger for
Mad Eye.
Mad Eye, and then Richard Armitage is an outside Arthur.
It's a very outside Arthur. He's going to have to do a lot of work to beat Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah.
Except, and here might be our saving grace, Domhnall Gleeson was in the film.
I know, yes, but that's the joke.
Okay, if we're doing it because it's funny, that's
because it was literally
Arthur's eldest
Bill
son.
or Charlie, I forget who.
Bill.
So that's why I thought it would be quite fun, because he's such a shoo-in for Arthur. Because I also, and hear me out on this, I don't hate Richard Armitage as Dumbledore.
Oh,
too young, obviously, but let's be realistic. We're not going to cast a 120-year-old, are we? But I also know that you've got quite an interesting Dumbledore lined up.
So I've got an interesting Dumbledore. I've actually got two, I think.
All right then, let's hear it.
So my real shout is Charles Dance.
Yeah.
If you like, but while we've been talking about Richard Armitage, do you know who jumped into my head?
Is it Mark Strong? Because you want Mark Strong somewhere.
I do want Mark Strong somewhere. No, Graham McTavish, who is Dwalin in the Hobbit, but he's also Lord Commander. What's his name? Lord Commander Westerling in House of the Dragon. He could grow his own beard.
Don't know.
I mean, I think Charles Dance is the real shout there. I think he has to be.
He's too on the nose, I think.
That's probably his biggest problem, is that he's too on the nose. And actually, you want to cast him as someone slightly weird, like a Fudge or something like that.
But I think Charles Dance would bring a really good energy to it. Should we quickly discuss Mark Rylance, who's like everybody else's shout for Dumbledore?
I don't know who Mark Rylance is.
I've seen him in lots. He's never seemingly carried anything that I've seen. But I'm not getting the right vibe from him.
Oh, what's he been in? I might just have not seen him in anything, but I'm looking at pictures of him. I don't see it. I've not seen him in anything, so I can't.
That's part of my. Well, I mean, it's not an issue as such. I just don't quite see it. Charles Dance could be interesting. I don't think I'm seeing McTavish. He looks too
agricultural,
rugged. Yes, agricultural. That's that. If you want to do a scene where Dumbledore slaps Voldemort in the face instead of Harry, then that's maybe
that's the thing. If you cast someone like Graham McTavish as Dumbledore, the question becomes, why doesn't Dumbledore just beat the shit out of Voldemort? Especially if you cast Cillian Murphy as Voldemort.
A bit of Muggle dueling to sort the situation.
Super sort of lanky Cillian Murphy facing up against. We're just casting everyone, like all the most hench actors we can think of.
That's the real solution. If you want to beat Voldemort, just cast Henry Cavill as Dumbledore and he'll beat him. So can I convince you about Richard Armitage as Dumbledore? Or are you set on Charles Dance and do we need to let the listeners decide? Because I also don't hate Charles Dance.
You could convince me of Richard Armitage, but I don't think he's old enough.
I get that, but I sort of feel that really works in Dumbledore's favour.
But Dumbledore is...
Which is why I preferred Gambon over Harris. But then Gambon did some weird things with the character that I didn't really like. But
I think... I think Gambon is a better casting for Dumbledore.
Do we just recast Gambon and tell him to do it better?
Isn't he dead?
Is Michael Gambon dead? I think he is dead. Yes, you're right. All right, AI it is then.
I'm sure Michael Gambon is
Yeah,
dead.
he died in 2023. Yeah, you're right.
So,
Okay. All right, then. Well,
Damn it.
given that they're both dead, then maybe Ian McKellen is finally up for it.
Ian McKellen, I think, has explicitly said he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, purely because of Richard Harris, yeah.
Not just because of Richard Harris. Not just because Richard Harris was not necessarily great, but just because it wouldn't be.
Well, he was
right.
also very much doing Lord of the Rings at the time, so, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at an impasse of Charles Dance and Richard Armitage. I see your point with Richard Armitage being too young, obviously, because he is. I think Charles Dance is. Charles Dance does bring that sort of scheming quality to it, though, doesn't he? Like, there's always something going on behind Charles Dance's eyes.
There's always something else. Every character he's ever played, or every character that I've ever seen him play, has been a planner.
I'm going to say I don't think he'd do it, whereas I think Richard Armitage would. I
think that's probably true. I think that's genuinely probably true. And we have to consider who we can get. I'm really annoyed because I just had a good idea for. Oh no, it's come back. Hold on. I had an idea for Arthur, but then I forgot it. But then I've remembered it again. Sorry, Damian Lewis for Arthur Weasley.
Fuck, that's great.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh, that's so good.
Isn't it?
That's so good.
Isn't it,
Damian Lewis. He's a bit old, isn't he?
He might be too old, but...
I haven't seen Damian Lewis in anything in ages.
Bill, the way that you sell Damian Lewis's age...
53.
He also opens up...
Yeah.
He's 53. Even if they, like, Arthur and Molly had their, like, eldest child quite young, by the time Ron is going to school, Bill has left and been left for at least 2 years.
Yeah, but the sort of going rate seems to be that wizard families start around 20.
Sure.
So I do picture Arthur and Molly in their 40s. Maybe because they were in the same year, or they certainly overlap.
Close to, but you could also have Arthur be a bit older than Molly, not much older.
Well, so okay, let's maybe turn our attention to Molly then, because I'm gonna throw Karen Gillan into the mix again.
I hate that, but I think it's right.
Karen Gillan and Damian Lewis, just picture it.
It's a good match, actually, isn't it? Problem is, I can't see Karen Gillan without seeing Amy Pond.
I know,
like
it's a real problem, but that is
20.
also 20 years ago. Therefore, it's right now, you know?
I know.
I was honestly shocked to learn that Karen Gillan is like in her 40s nearly.
That hurts. That genuinely hurts that Karen Gillan is in her 40s.
Well, she's 37, so nearly. But that's why I was like, she could be a younger Molly.
Okay, that's a huge age gap, actually.
That's 5 years. That's nowhere near as bad as Damian Lewis.
Sorry, I thought you said Damian was 50 odd.
Yeah, 52.
Yeah, no, that's my point.
To play a 44-year-old, that's the same age gap.
No. Shut up and listen. Damian Lewis is 53. Karen Gillan is 37.
Also really tall. No word.
Also really tall. All
right, who have you got for Molly?
Well, just because she was also in Homeland and she's come up on my screen. Miranda Otto.
Miranda Otto. You are full of surprises today, Mr. Baggins.
I mean, I don't think it's a...
She's definitely too old. Which is a horrible thing
she's
to
older
say.
than Damian Lewis.
Yeah. She still looks incredible, though. I think she could well pull off Molly Weasley.
All right. It's not my actual shout for McGonagall, but she could play McGonagall.
You know what?
She's not my shout for McGonagall, but she could do it.
I like that a lot more than Olivia Colman, which is everybody's suggestion.
That's
seemingly.
my suggestion. It's my suggestion. I had Michelle Fairley written down, and then I caved to the popular pressure that I knew.
Michelle Fairley, I also like as McGonagall, perhaps more so than Miranda Otto, actually.
But probably the reason I got rid of Michelle Fairley because it was like at that point I've literally cast everyone
from Game of Thrones. I know,
except
yeah.
Sean Bean.
It is an issue. Well, Sean Bean will be in there somewhere. Quirrell.
I'm casting Sean Bean as Rufus Scrimgeour.
Yeah, actually, it's a great shout. Why not? I know. It's on the nose.
It's he'll be dead by the end of the film. Don't worry.
Who did I have Sean Bean for once upon a time? Oh yeah, actually, I threw him in as Dumbledore, didn't I? I thought Sean Bean Dumbledore could be a great shout as well.
The other place you could see him is Barty Crouch Senior.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah. He's got the gravitas.
He does. He can pull off the gravitas.
And because I really like the suggestion of Matt Berry as Ludo Bagman. I want to see Sean Bean and Matt Berry act together.
So do I.
All right, let's do it. So Sean Bean, we're saying, is old
Barty Crouch Senior.
Crouch Senior. That is not how you write senior.
Will do.
And then Matt Berry is Ludo Bagman.
Yeah. All right.
So
McGonagall, are we having Michelle Fairley or Miranda Otto? We're not having Olivia Colman purely to be contrarians.
I just don't see. I mean, and I get this is heresy because Olivia Colman is obviously a fantastic actress, and I think she'd do a great job at McGonagall, but it's not hitting the right vibe for me.
No, I think it's just she's really good.
I think it has to be.
McGonagall is a large, like a big role for a good actress.
I think there's a lot to that. Yeah, there's a lot to that. I think you go Michelle Fairley.
I think you do.
I think Miranda Otto's too. I mean, she's as Eowyn, she's obviously quite fierce, but not in that McGonagall way.
You need the Michelle Fairley, like
the hard edges,
the brittle hard edges.
Effectively, I'm just thinking jawline. That's kind of what you. That's what you need. And I think that's partly my issue with Olivia Colman as well.
She's a little bit too soft.
Yeah.
She's also really short. I've bumped into her in a lift. She's really short.
Yeah, you're also freakishly tall.
Sure, I get that, but I still know where I expect people to be relative to me.
Yeah, fair.
No, I think you're right. I think McGonagall, we're taking Michelle Fairley.
It probably sounds awful, but Olivia Colman, I had more down in the Pettigrew world. It's not right because that she's.
I've seen her as a suggestion for Umbridge quite a lot.
Umbridge, I think, would work, but we stumbled on Ruth Wilson there, which I think just
perfect.
Works, right?
All right, Arthur, I'm locking in Damian Lewis, and I think for Molly, if it weren't for the age gap, I think Karen Gillan is the right shout. And do I care about the age gap that much?
I don't think I care about the age gap that much. I think Karen Gillan would give off major Molly vibes.
I think you're right. That's not used by Karen. Mad Eye. Did we settle on Richard Armitage for Mad Eye?
Did we?
Did we? Did I just write that down and then we never talked about it?
No, that was your suggestion for Mad Eye. We had a much better Mad Eye, didn't we?
Oh, Chiwetel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not right.
No, that's not. That's fine. This is Sean struggling to write because we've reached our hour mark, so we should start maybe wrapping this up. Although people, they haven't heard from us in a long time. Maybe this is
we can. I mean, I can go for a little bit longer if you can.
Yeah, well, you have a more hard stop than I do, so.
Yes. Right, we still don't have. I think we were vaguely okay with someone like Tom Ellis for Lucius, but we haven't locked it in. We still don't have a Dumbledore. I
do also really like the idea of Peter Capaldi somewhere. And I think Lucius is not a bad place for it. It's a slightly weird choice.
That's so age rogue, though.
It is, yeah, that is wild. But you can't keep casting everybody as bloody Dumbledore, because there seems to be nobody in that middle generation, because they all got killed
Peter
during the First War.
Capaldi is Aberforth.
Done. Sold.
Yeah.
Yep. Straight in there.
Because you could absolutely believe that Peter Capaldi did inappropriate charms on a goat.
Yep. Because other suggestions in that Reddit were Matt Smith as Voldemort. I don't see him as Voldemort, but Matt Smith is great.
Matt Smith as Lucius actually works.
That does actually work, yeah.
These things just happen.
Yeah, these things just happen.
Sorry, that's who he plays in Eyes of the Dragon.
Just for reference to the listeners, like Ray Winston as Alistair Moody is equally the worst shout imaginable and also the best shout.
Yeah, no, it's got some serious like, why did you think that? But also
like it really works.
It's not a no.
I also swear we cast Matthew McFadden in something, didn't we?
Dawlish. You cast Matthew McFadden as Dawlish, which I really, really like.
It's no slight on Matthew McFadden. I think he's a fantastic actor, but I don't know.
He's got so much Dawlish energy.
It really is just that, isn't it? So we need to come up with...
We need to confirm our Dumbledore.
Yeah, and then we need to come up with a Tonks, really.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Absolutely.
Or Jodie Comer.
Absolutely not. Jodie Comer, yes. I'm gonna give my shout, which was a bastardization of your original shout for McGonagall, potentially, which is Gwendolyn Christie. And then we really have cast everybody from Game of Thrones.
No, Gwendolyn Christie makes a much better Trelawney.
Fuck, yes, you're right. Yep. Yeah. Lock it in. You're absolutely
I
spot
like
on.
how there's some where the moment one of us says it, it's just like, oh yeah, that's absolutely the correct.
That is just the correct objective truth, yes. Jodie Comer as Tonks.
Why do you not like Anna Taylor-Joy?
She looks like an alien.
Well, exactly, but Tonks has got that can change her appearance.
But that's what I mean. Like Anya Taylor-Joy's face is so Anya Taylor-Joy. That's it. That's her thing. I think for Tonks, you want somebody who's got a much more malleable face to give that impression that she can kind of be anybody.
I see that,
and it's very unkind of me to say of Jodie Comer, but that is more what I could see there.
I suspect. I think she's probably got a bigger range than Anya Taylor-Joy as well. Like I think because of the sort of slightly otherworldliness of her.
Yeah,
look, she can kind of only play one thing, whereas Jodie Comer has played everything from like Villanelle through to she's in like a film with Ryan Reynolds, Fall Guy, something like that it's called, where she plays like 3 different characters in one film. I'm happy with Jodie Comer for songs.
Because this would be what I was thinking is like Rebecca Ferguson, but probably a bit too old for Tonks. Definitely too old for Tonks.
If she's playing opposite Richard Madden.
Yeah, because Tonks is literally. I think Tonks overlapped with like Fred and George in school, right?
Yeah, I mean,
not by much, I suppose. But
Lupin is older than Tonks.
Lupin is older than Tonks, yeah. Maisie Williams.
Yeah, is that going to be weird for Richard Madden and Maisie Williams? Do we care? No.
Hadn't thought of that. Why have we not said Rose Leslie for Molly, by the way? They're too young, right? Yeah, too young, probably.
Who's Rose Leslie?
Kit Harington's actual wife.
Oh, God.
And,
no, actually...
maybe more of a Lily. That could work.
More of a Lily.
Yeah, Rose Leslie as Lily.
And actually, then you're casting Kit Harington and Rose Leslie as husband and wife, which I like.
Perfect.
That's cute.
That is cute, yeah. We're so good at this. So can I come up with anybody better than Jodie Comer? What's my issue with Jodie Comer? I don't really have an issue with Jodie Comer. I think it's a good shout, actually. Yeah, I think it's a good shout. She's got an interesting face, but you could... She feels like she'd be malleable. I have to stop saying that about people.
Really think about how you say things. I want Mads Mikkelsen in here.
Yeah, of course you do.
But he's already been Grindelwald. So I wonder if we just get him back to be Grindelwald.
That was my thing with Colin Farrell as well.
Yeah.
We also wanted Colin Firth in here somewhere.
Yeah, he would make a good Fudge.
He would make quite a good Fudge.
Because Colin Firth has the feel of someone who would be a really satisfying Prime Minister when everything was going fine, and then the moment everything starts to go badly, you'd be like, we need someone different.
Yeah. Because I also was thinking like Nearly Headless Nick could be a good Firth.
There's a few castings like that. Stephen Fry could fit in here somewhere as a Binns or something like that.
And Hugh Laurie, I think you put in there somewhere.
Oh god, Fry and Laurie.
Could I actually
Really Headless Nick and Professor Binns.
Don't hate that. I was also going to just throw Hugh Laurie on the bus and say Argus Filch.
Such a horrible, horrible thing to do to Hugh Laurie, and it's also really good.
I know, right?
No, I want Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry to have scenes together.
Yeah,
however you
true.
do it. Filch and Peeves.
There you go. Filch and Peeves, yeah.
I hate that so much. That's got so much 90s British TV energy.
But it would work.
But also...
It's almost like you can imagine that is what they're based on.
Yes, Filch, Hugh Laurie.
For those who haven't
got to
watched
do it that
Fry
way
and
around.
Laurie, like excellent sketch shows.
Yeah.
Because wasn't
It's got to be that way
was
around,
John
right?
Cleese,
Filch
right?
is Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, Filch is Laurie and Peeves is Fry, yeah. Because I'm right in saying that it was John Cleese as Nearly Headless Nick, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's just acting comedy royalty. Goodness.
Yeah.
Right, so... Sorry.
We've got everyone on our list except Snape.
Well, we haven't committed to a Dumbledore.
We haven't committed to a Dumbledore.
I think we throw Dumbledore out to the listeners. Do we want a Richard Armitage, or do we want a Charles Dance?
Or so, who are we missing?
Or who we're missing yet? Both would be excellent, let's be honest. I also liked your suggestion of more Jude Law.
He's just not old enough.
No, and Jude Law is only also too old for like anybody else. You know what?
Other than like a Scrimgeour or...
Arthur. I would say Jude Law could be a good Arthur.
Oh, is he better than Damian Lewis for Arthur? Surely Jude Law is too well put together to be Arthur.
But he's got that sort of slightly madcap hair. Like he's a little bit more rough around the edges at times because he's that affable sort of British.
It depends
actor,
which
right?
Jude Law you get.
It does depend which Jude Law you get. The thing is, I can't see Damian Lewis as anything other than what I've seen him as, and they're always really like quite gritty, hard characters.
Yeah, it's a very gritty Arthur. But Arthur has a pretty gritty
It
job.
does, yeah. No, and I think Damian Lewis does work quite well with that.
I've got a really left wing shout. I mean, not left wing. Like out of left field shout for Dumbledore as well. Just to close on, I think.
All right.
I'm not sure what I think about this, and everyone will hate it.
Oh no.
But Morgan Freeman.
Now then,
Right?
Morgan Freeman.
I don't know what Morgan Freeman looks like with a beard.
It's funny. Just as you're about to say that, I was like, "Oh, I did mention Denzel before, didn't I?"
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I jumped off. You said Denzel, and I thought, well, maybe Denzel, but actually...
Morgan Freeman's a really good shout.
We have to be blunt. Morgan Freeman is 87 years old.
How old's Denzel?
And this is going to... It's probably not far off it, to be fair.
70.
Actually, Denzel might be the shout.
I think a Denzel Dumbledore gives you that sort of slightly grittier side of him, the sort of realist schemer side. The Morgan Freeman
is a Harris. Morgan Freeman is a Harris cast.
Yeah, but Morgan Freeman has got many roles where he's like he's got that kind of two-tone personality. That's not a
Morgan
bad
Freeman
shout.
has a side. I just don't know, given that this is going to run for at least 7 years, do we want a 95-year-old Morgan Freeman?
But then we maybe get best of both worlds. We cast Morgan Freeman, and then we cast Denzel should the need arise.
Should Morgan Freeman?
Because Charles Dance is also not a spring chicken. How old is Charles Dance?
No, he's not. He's not. That's true.
Well, he's 78. He's actually quite a lot younger than... Also got a massive rig on, my goodness. He's in surprisingly good shape. Anyway, I got distracted there. So Dumbledore, we have Richard Armitage, Charles Dance, Morgan Freeman,
Denzel,
potentially Denzel. All good options, aren't they? Of Denzel and Morgan Freeman, I see Morgan Freeman with a ridiculously long beard more than I see Denzel.
Yeah,
I'll say that. That's a tough one.
Right.
So we'll leave that up to the listeners to maybe give us some guidance on that. So we just need to decide on a Snape.
Yeah, I've already forgotten. We've been talking for too long. Who are our Snape choices? Chalamet,
Melling,
Adam Driver,
and Driver.
Harry Melling.
It's hard to not say Adam Driver.
From that list,
Adam Driver. He's American.
It's hard to not pick
American instantly makes the sliminess more believable.
True. But also, if you think of Adam Driver with Kylo Ren hair, basically.
That's the thing.
Kylo Ren is like so slimy and sweaty and horrible.
The first picture you get of Adam Driver when you Google him is just a shoo-in for Snape, isn't it? A bit on the old side.
He is, but you're always going to have to fiddle with the ages slightly.
Chalamet's too like pretty boy. I don't see it for Snape. He's the perfect age.
And I also would absolutely believe a Adam Driver basically just playing Kylo Ren again, like being really, really angry that Kit Harington got the girl.
Yeah.
Also, Adam Driver and Kit Harington don't actually look alike, but they have like a slightly similar style to them.
Yeah, I agree. I think we go Adam Driver. I think we go Adam Driver.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should not look at Chalamet because we've forgotten Tom Holland.
Oh, we have forgotten Tom Holland.
Saoirse Ronan. Man, so many good British actors.
We did forget Saoirse Ronan.
I'm sure we can cast them.
Narcissa?
Oh, you know what? Sold. Yeah, let's do it.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
I'd buy Saoirse Ronan as Natalie Dormer's sister.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Saoi.
Saio?
Saoi.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Irish.
It's so Irish.
Okay, so Adam Driver as Snape. So it's up to you, dear listeners, to figure out which Dumbledore would you like to see. And why is it going to be Mark Rylance? It seems to be everybody's choice.
Well, if it is Mark Rylance, please explain it.
Yeah.
Show me the role. Tell me what I need to
Show
go
you're
and
working.
watch. Find me a clip.
Show you're working.
Show you're working. Exactly.
All right.
Otherwise, I think we've got some absolute nuggets of gold in here.
Crackers, yeah. Mostly British and Irish.
We've got a smattering.
Some American in there, but I think that's,
you need to have a bit of range.
Exactly, you do.
You do. I've just heard kids come home, so without pause.
There you go.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Expertise is Overrated. No doubt we've said some things were either objectively wrong or downright offensive. As ever, feel free to let us know, rate the podcast wherever you can, check out our Patreon for bonus content, and come chat to us on Discord.
If you're lucky, we might just argue with you in one of our upcoming episodes. If you're really lucky, we might call you an idiot. Come back next time for some more absolute nonsense.